Menopause, the dreaded menopause. So menopause is a whole body transition and not just the common knowledge of loss of periods and hot flushes that women have to go through. The permanent loss of ovarian, estrogen and progesterone has a profound effect throughout the body. So for those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Sam Brown and I am a BANT registered nutritionist here in the UK. And on my channel, I am typically talking about the science-backed info on anything nutrition and lifestyle. So if this is the kind of thing that you are into, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the little bell icon. We have receptors for estrogen and progesterone all over the body, and so it makes perfect sense that when they decline, it has an impact on every single organ. In fact, estrogen has multiple tasks throughout our body. Menopausal transition actually begins several years before full menopause, and hormone production during this time is actually really erratic, and this gives us the more common association of hot flushes, mood swings, sleep deprivation. After menopause, women are at an increased risk of anxiety, depression, weight gain, cardiovascular issues, digestive issues, autoimmune conditions, and also poor sleep. So let's look at 3 popular complaints about the transition into menopause and full menopause. Weight gain. So estrogen is involved in energy metabolism and also fat distribution. So we go from carrying weight in our hips, buttocks, glutes, also a layer of fat just underneath the skin, which is called a subcutaneous layer. This fat is associated with a much healthier glucose utilization, but the fat around our abdominals is associated with many different health risks, including metabolic syndrome. So estrogen is needed for healthy glucose utilization and also metabolism. Now this just means that it helps get the sugar out of the blood and into the cells where we can use it as energy. There can be changes to appetite as well. Satiety hormones that are released when we eat are received by something called the hypothalamus in the brain. Now there are estrogen receptors on this hypothalamus, so as estrogen levels continue to fall and decline, changes in the control of appetite can be expected. When you combine this with blood sugar dysregulation and insulin resistance that is quite common within menopause, you can expect weight gain. Energy can also be a big problem during this transition of perimenopause into full menopause, and a lot of this can be down to the disruption of sleep from things like hot flushes, but also from the function of something called our mitochondria. You can think of mitochondria as an energy factory or a powerhouse within each cell of the body, and they produce an energy currency that the body can use. Estrogen coordinates and enhances mitochondrial function, and also something called biogenesis, which just means new mitochondria. It also has a protective effect, and so you can imagine that as estrogen declines, our energy can really be affected. An interesting little fact here is that 10% of your body weight is actually your mitochondria. Now, to say that these are microscopic within each and every cell of our bodies, that's quite amazing. The brain. So many women complain of brain fog, concentration, walking into a room and not even remembering why you've gone in there. So our brain can actually synthesize estrogen as well as receiving it from the rest of the body. But obviously as menopause continues, this estrogen supply does decline. Estrogen actually has neuroprotective properties to it and can actually increase the time that serotonin is available in the brain. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that is responsible for our mood and happiness. Estrogen supports something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Now this just means it's a growth factor within the brain that supports neurogenesis, new neurons within the brain, and this really helps with learning and memory. Bone health. It's long known that estrogen is important when it comes to bone health. That with vitamin D, K2, calcium, along with some other nutrients, is really important to help protect your bones. But there is something called sex hormone binding globulin that can really affect the amount of estrogen that is available to the body. Sex hormone binding globulin is produced in the liver and actually plays a really important role in the body for binding active hormones that we don't need all of the time. Now, the rule of thumb is the more sex hormone binding globulin you have, the less estrogen is available in the body. So what can we do? As blood sugar regulation and energy metabolism changes, switching to a lower carb diet can really reduce the amount of sugar in the blood. If you want to learn more about blood sugar regulation, then check out this video here. But with a higher carb diet, your insulin will be raised and the excess sugar will be stored as fat, as insulin is our fat storing hormone. For those of you that watch my videos, you will know that intermittent fasting comes up time and time again. But increased blood sugar and insulin puts you at risk of metabolic syndrome, and intermittent fasting is a brilliant tool at reducing the blood sugar and the insulin and helping you to tap into fat burning mechanisms. Concentrate your meals on protein, fats and fibre. Now, I have spoken about this before, but concentrating on protein, fats and fibre are really going to help increase the satiety hormones in your body and help you control your appetite. These food groups also slow down gastric emptying. Now, when we slow down that emptying, we reduce the amount of insulin that's released at any one time. It just means that you are not riding very high sugar and then dipping and then craving sugars again and then dipping back down as you're releasing insulin all the time and turning that energy into fat stores. Protecting the mitochondria from oxidative damage. Now, this is an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants. Our bodies produce free radicals all the time by just breathing and living and producing energy and waste. And so we need to make sure that we have these antioxidants in our body to help protect that mitochondria so that it works to the best of its ability. So what nutrients can we get into our body? Omega-3s. I love omega-3s. They play such a vast role in the body. So we're looking at salmon, mackerel, sardines, oysters. Vegan options are flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, hemp seeds. And even if you are a fish eater, it's a really great idea to kind of mix up your sources of omega-3s. Antioxidants. So we're looking here at vitamin C and zinc. Now, we know that citrus fruits are full of vitamin C, but so are your dark green vegetables. So think broccoli, spinach, kale. Don't forget your chili peppers and normal bell peppers. And a really great tip of just topping it all up is to sprinkle some herbs like parsley and thyme over the top of your food. Zinc. Really abundant in nuts and seeds and hemp seeds. I really love hemp seeds. They're a great accompaniment to most meals. Don't forget about red meat and especially shellfish. Super abundant in that. B vitamins. These are really available in a variety of food, from meat and seafood to whole grains, nuts and seeds, legumes. All abundant in B vitamins. Magnesium, dark chocolate, avocados, leafy greens, bananas, fatty fish, lots and lots of different sources of magnesium. Selenium, again, meat, shellfish, eggs, but specifically Brazil nuts. They're really high in selenium, and just a couple of those every day is going to give you your daily recommended amount. Aromatization, converting androgens into estrogens. After menopause, there remains some aromatase activity in the skin, the fat tissue, and the brain. And this estrogen is particularly important for heart health and for brain health as women get older. Aromatization is where we convert androgens into estrogens. Now, we're also able to synthesize some estrogen in the brain via cholesterol. Studies have shown that strength-based and weighted exercise have actually increased estrogens in the body in menopausal women. Adrenal health is really important. They produce something called DHEA, which is a precursor to testosterone, and as I've just said, we can turn testosterone into estrogens. But if you are stressed and you are pushing your adrenals, they won't produce DHEA in the same quantities. They will prioritize cortisol. So do check out my videos on stress. You'll find them really helpful. Last but definitely not least, not getting enough protein in your diet is associated with increased levels of sex hormone binding globulin. Now, most diets that I come across in clinic are low in protein. An easy way of calculating how much protein you should be getting in your diet is between 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of weight. Now, if you are doing any kind of weight training or lots and lots of exercise, you can up this to 1.5. So if you have enjoyed the information in this video, don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe and click the bell icon, and I shall see you next week.